morning, everyone. Sophia here, my great challenge. Guess what? I didn't record the end of yesterday's video, so at some point I'm gonna have to get everybody to discuss as a voiceover what they felt about Boston. But today we are in Concord, Lexington area, and battles of the Revolution and all of that. Microphone wasn't working this morning, so we're already 5 hours into our day trip and I have to record the whole thing over. So basically this is what's going on. We're gonna start with Harvard because Edward wanted to see Cambridge Harvard area and walk onto campus, so we're gonna do that. This is what's coming up next, and once we're done with Harvard we're gonna head out to Concord and see the Concord Museum, which is the April 19th, 1775 museum of the first battle of the American Revolution, and they did authorize me to film and take pictures, so I'm super excited to share that with you. The main highlight of the museum is Paul Revere's lantern, the famous lantern of Old Church. Was it the North Church, Edward?
Old North Church. Old
North Church that we saw yesterday in Boston with the one if by land, two if by sea. One of those two lanterns is at the museum, so that would be the biggest highlight of the museum. And they also have an exhibit about the women of Concord, the suffragettes and all of this stuff. Super interesting. Once we're done with the museum, we're gonna go and check out the North Bridge, which is really the site of the very first battle of the American Revolution. So just, you know, in a gist, the British heard that the Americans, well, they weren't technically Americans yet, the rebellion was kind of gathering weapons and putting militias together. They got wind of it and decided to come here, leaving Boston, which is really the area they control. They didn't have any control of the areas around here, and their intention was to come to Concord and grab a cache of weapons that the militia were using here. And at some point we're gonna see actually the gun house where all of this stuff was. But of course, the rebels and the revolutionaries and Minutemen heard about that through Paul Revere. Once he heard that the British planned on coming to Concord and Lexington, he did his very famous midnight ride. And you'll see at some point in the museum, they have an animation that shows you the entire ride that he took. And he came all the way here to Concord and Lexington to let everybody know that the British were coming, and that's how the very first battle of the Revolution happened, was over here, initially over a cache of weapons that the militia were going to use to fight against the British. It's a very, very rich area with regards to history. It is absolutely stunning around here. Every single house around here was owned by somebody famous. Ralph Waldo Emerson's house is here, Thoreau's house is here. I think that Hawthorne is buried here as well. We're not going to spend a lot of time doing that because it's already 2:23 and we want to spend the rest of the day in Salem. So without further ado, let's go and check out the museum. Then you'll see the bridge, and then we're gonna go have lunch and leave and go to Salem. that museum was amazing. I strongly recommend you check out the Concord Revolution Museum. Beautifully done, great exhibit. Paul Revere's lantern is there. It was awesome. It really was. So this is a very rich history around here. This is, of course, where the first battle of the Revolution happened. The midnight ride of Paul Revere from Boston. He came all the way up here to let everybody know in Lexington and Concord that, well, actually it was Lexington initially, that the British were coming. And we are here at the Minuteman National Park, where the North Bridge is. And the North Bridge is the very, very first battle of the Revolution, with the very famous say of the shot heard around the world. The reason why we say this is because nobody knows who actually fired the first round, if it was the militia or the British. There was a series of battles as the British retrieved over time, over a period of several days, and the militia was basically following them and kept on fighting. One of the interesting things about British military at the time is that they were still doing the fights the old-fashioned way, in that they were strategically not very improved compared to the previous wars that they were engaged in. Here's the bridge, by the way, and we're gonna go and walk on it. They would basically line up their men and they would shoot, and then if you fall, the guy behind you takes over your place and you start shooting until you get wounded, and on and on and on and on. The Minutemen, however, didn't necessarily have military background. So what these guys did is all sorts of crazy maneuver that really took the British by surprise. And they are called Minutemen, by the way, because they were able to, as militia, they were able to use their own weapons, and they also were reloading under 1 minute. I tell you guys, Concord is a gorgeous little town filled with history. This is Main Street, and we pick a place. We're gonna go to the Main Street Market and Cafe, which is right there. At the Main Street Cafe was really good. What did you think, Willie?
It was good.
It was good. Ed, was it good?
Yeah.
Ed liked it. Scott is paying the bill. We are on our way to Salem. Before we go to Salem, I want to take shots for you guys of Emerson's house and the gun house, where all the ammunitions were stashed. Now, if I had an opportunity, I would definitely come back to this area. I find it to be absolutely beautiful. It's everything here has history. Every house had somebody famous who lived there, or people who were involved at some point or another with the revolution. Everything is preserved beautifully. It's a very nice town, quaint little town, very rich in history. People have pride in ownership here. It's amazing. Concord is gorgeous. If you get a chance, come and visit Concord, because it's really very impressive as a little town. So we're ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, we're on our way to Salem, but first, the gun house and Ralph Waldo Emerson's house. Where are we?
Salem.
Salem? Why are we here?
Because witches.
Because witches. So you want to see the witches of Salem, right?
Yeah.
What else do you want to do while we're here?
Kind of it. I want to see the witches.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're in Salem, Massachusetts, which is on the water, by the way. We didn't know that. There's the harbor, marina, you name it. And we're going to go check out the old area. We get tickets to the Salem Witches Museum, which is a wax museum. That one is definitely no picture, no filming in it, so I can't share that with you. I believe that right across from it is the House of Seven Gables, and then we're gonna just check out the little boutiques or whatever. We got an hour before the museum, right, Willie?
Yeah. Well,
And
no, we have like 30 minutes.
okay, well, we're gonna spend the evening here anyway. Just relax in Salem and check it out. It's so far it looks like a nice little town. There's a lot of tourists here, obviously because of the notoriety of Salem, but we'll see. We may have a good time. Okay, so Willie, thoughts on the Witches Museum?
I liked it. I think maybe they should have touched more on also the European side because there were more accused over there.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, they should have gone over the general hysteria.
The general hysteria. Okay, so what could I possibly say? Okay, if you're deeply religious and you're a person of faith, like I am, you appreciate the history part of it. What they do is that they took over a church, an abandoned church, I guess, and they created, is it 14? Something like that, station in the church, around the church. You sit in the middle of it, and they have alcoves with wax figures, and as they tell the story, each one lights up at the right time and then dims up, and then the next one. Okay, you get the idea. I don't know when they created this, but very obviously hasn't been updated for 30-something years. It sounds very much like a horror movie from the 1960s. Like you can almost imagine Vincent Price doing the narration of it. That part actually, I thought it was going to be like really cheesy. Turned out to be pretty okay, right?
Yeah.
Because it tells the whole story of the Crucible, as written by Henry Miller. Now, the second part of the exhibit, they take you into some kind of history of witchcraft and perception of witches, from the witches of Salem to the Wizard of Oz, and then the McCarty era with the witch hunt and then all of the, chasing of the Japanese in the camps and all of this stuff. And then at the very end, they have another tableau where they have a young couple, waxed figures, literally promoting Wicca. How cool it is! I have a problem with that. That was like, no, I don't understand it. So we're going to the rest of the town to see what they're doing over there. I know they have a lot of stores, cafes. They have the memorial, right? You want to go see the memorial?
Sure.
We're gonna go see the memorial. My biggest issue with this whole thing is if you compare it to what they did in Plymouth, for instance, with Plymouth Patuxent, where they have reenactments and like they're really immersive. Salem sold that to capitalism, basically, where you can go to any shop and everybody's selling candles, tarot cards, smudge sticks. What else are they selling?
Yeah.
Black cat amulets, crystals, handmade soaps in various purple and black shades. Very few books, unless it's witchcraft related books. Yeah, Salem is not for me. Okay. I'm sorry, Willie.
It's fine.
But the museum, alright, it was $15 per person. That first part was actually not as bad as I thought it would be. It kept me interested because I kind of like the story actually of the Crucible. So that was good. But so let's go into town and see what they got. Supposedly there's an ice cream shop that's like the best. So we're gonna go there, go see the memorial. But again, Salem missed opportunity here to do something really cool and historically factual and really get people involved. I don't know. It just got commercialized. I don't like that. Anyway, a little disappointed with Salem so far, but we'll keep moving. Let's go shopping. tell you what, guys, it's 6:30. Salem's not for us, okay? We're going back to Plymouth and have a nice dinner in Plymouth. We're about an hour and 15 minutes. We're gonna try the New World Tavern again because it was closed last time when we got there on Sunday, and we ended up at the Speedwell, which was very good, by the way. I had an excellent piece of fish at the Speedwell. But tonight we're gonna try to get the New World Tavern. And Willie, you said it closes at 11?
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad Willie had a good time at the Salem Witch Museum. I guess you got to go there with an open mind. The first exhibit was okay, but the town is just not for us. So if you're a fan of Salem, I'm not trying to insult you or anything, enjoy. It's not for us. So we're leaving. I'll see you back in Plymouth. I think this video had mostly montage and not enough talking, but do you want to give us your impression of Salem, Scott?
No, I don't think I want to.
Edward, your impression of Salem, Massachusetts?
You know, there was a good bit there where it was like accurate, and then there was a good bit afterwards where I was just like, you know, I'm starting to rethink liking capitalism.
Yeah, okay. Willie, your impression of Salem?
I like the wax museum. That was nice.
The Witches Museum.
Yeah.
The Wax Museum is a different exhibit.
I like the witches museum.
Yeah?
That was nice.
And the town?
It's okay.
Town is okay. Okay. So there you have it. My Great Challenge family is not a fan of Salem. It's a pretty town. I'll say it again. They could have done something fantastic with the history, but instead they went mainstream marketing, selling all sorts of garbage, you know, evil eye stuff, tarot card stuff. There's haunted houses, there's tarot reading, there's ghost stores, there's what else they have?
Did you say haunted houses?
Yeah, I said haunted house. What else do they have?
Oh, they had the stores where they sell the crystals and the.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It could have anyway. All right. I'm looking forward to dinner in Plymouth. See you in a bit. Yay! We're back in Plymouth, America's hometown. We're gonna have dinner at the New World Tavern, which was initially where we were gonna eat the first night. And then we're starting to plan for tomorrow. So tomorrow morning we're doing the museum, Pilgrim Museum. It won't take long. And then we try to like fool around a little bit with the map and see where else we could go. We thought about Martha's Vineyard, but you gotta take the ferry. We thought about Cape Cod, but we don't really know what to see. And plus we're not really like beach town type people. So I was looking around on the map and then remembered Stockbridge, Massachusetts, where we went moons ago when Edward was 2.5 years old. And apparently they have an exhibit at the Norman Rockwell house and studio that is about fantasy illustration. So it's 2.5 hour ride from here to there, and then from there to the house is another 2.5 hours. And we kind of think that we might be able to do it. So if we do the museum tomorrow morning and we stop around noon, we'll get there around 3. Man, the color changing is crazy, right? We'll be there around 3, and then gives us 2 hours to watch the normal Rockwell Museum, and then at 5 o'clock we check out and go home. In the meantime, we're going to browse the windows on Main Street in Plymouth, and I'm loving it already.